Hi, everyone.
Hi, James.
Guys, I
Hi,
missed that.
James.
Welcome to the Beer Protocols. The Beer Protocols. Fuck this shit. Hmm.
Hi, James. What are you
We're gonna
drinking
talk
too
about
much
we're
of
gonna talk about
already?
this list, and I'm drinking in our Dubby cup. I'm drinking a rum and coke.
Hi, this is Jacob. Today I am having a Virginia beer,
Literally.
Saving Daylight, a citrus wheat ale with grapefruit and orange peels.
Oh, that sounds
Ooh,
good.
It's
I,
citrusy. It's a citrus wheat ale.
I
good.
am having a gunpowder gin martini.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice. So
It's fucking good.
oh
Before we go on,
yeah,
gentlemen, cheers.
chink.
Clink.
Clink.
Sorry, I'm in a plastic cup. Clunk. Uh, Bob Likes Soup gave us a list to go across and tell him what's wrong with it. So it's a Cabal list. God, we're not going to
Well,
read out everything. We're just going to kind of go through it.
we're only
Um,
like 2 weeks behind on
I
giving
I
him
know,
an
I know.
actual recommendation. So, uh,
Initial.
Matt, where is he set for his Cabal list for his 8 people he wants to bring?
Okay, so we know he wants to bring Red Skull, Hulk, Modoc, Venom, Hood, Winter Soldier, Shuri, and Bob, Agent of Hydra.
All right, and we don't need to read the considering. We're going to give our thoughts on the
He has a big
considerings.
list of people he's
He's
considering to
got a
bring.
whole list.
Which is actually more than his actual bringing list.
They have a whole list. I'm not sure of gender. So we were actually looking at this earlier, and my first thought was Hulk and Modoc in the same list. You're never going to do that. Either pick Hulk or pick Modoc.
Well, I mean,
Well, you
I,
can bring them at separate times.
Oh,
by
Jake's gonna be devil's
by
advocate
the nature of me being a different human than you and thinking differently,
and
like you can
wrongly.
have them in the same roster.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't mean you're going to play them in the same game. Some
No.
games you want Modoc's control. Other games you want to invest a little bit more for Hulk.
So
And
if
Smash.
so, Red Skull. I'm sorry. If you're going to take Red Skull,
Hmm.
you want things that do lots of little damages. You want to build up that power. You want cards that use that power.
Uh,
You want characters that spend that power.
you want rapid
Um,
fire.
like a bunch of rapid fire and stuff like that. You want to build up as much power as you possibly can. Red Skull's also a power hungry beast. Uh,
Hmm.
This is true.
so if that's the case, really think about like, are you going to be using Hulk to the complete advantage, or are you going to use Modoc to the complete advantage? Now, as
Honestly,
part
neither, but
so as part of the
that's
considering too, that's why I was leaning towards Sin and Crossbones. First off,
Yes.
they're both Cabal.
mhm.
Sin has a rapid fire, I believe.
I
Um,
think so. We can pull up another
cross
screen.
and
Keep talking.
cross
uh,
and Crossbones is just a beast
and
for doing damage.
isn't Sin the other one with the other leadership too?
Yeah,
Yes.
Sin
Or
has the other leadership that does a little bit of movement shenanigans
that's
at the end of the round.
a bit, but it's a bit of control too. So you
A
have
little bit.
another.
So, like I was saying, if you're going to take Sin and Crossbones and possibly use Sin's, uh, I guess, her leadership, I would go with Modoc, drop Hulk, and then take. I know Bob, Agent of Hydra. I know people like him. I know he does a lot of like damage and stuff. I would probably drop him and put Bullseye in instead.
So,
Um,
viewers, real quick, I would like to peel back the veil and do some time travel.
Shut up.
James, weren't you the one pushing super hard for Bob, Agent of Hydra, and as many things as possible when
Listen,
we reviewed him?
that was past James.
That
Um,
to be fair, I'll defend James once. Mark this now. That was before
Timestamp
Bulls.
this.
That was before Bullseye got his update.
that was before Bullseye got his update. And Bullseye, I think, is a better 2 point character with the bleed, the possible retaliation, a little bit of movement shenanigans. He's a really good 2 point.
He's the
Uh,
full Mambo number 5.
now,
I have a good
Little
Marble
bit of
4.
knife.
taking out Hulk, if you're trying to make Hulk as your I'm going to go kill people, take Medusa instead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna rip back the veil a little bit and just be
Oh
like,
god, we've been ripping back that veil so much.
I put the
There's
veil back. I'm going to rip it off again.
dramatic effect.
Apparently ripping off. Look, I just played a lot of Tina's Wonderlands. I'm in a fantasy mood. I would almost just like, okay, let's pick a couple models and not necessarily do substitutions of his core 10 roster just yet, because there's so many other things to talk about. It's like, yes, bring Bullseye. I would also say yes, take Sit and Crossbones because they're going to open up with Cabal synergies.
I would
Moving
Ultron
on,
is not a bad one to bring
Ultra.
too.
Ultron's not
Hul-
horrible to bring, but he's if you're bringing Hulk or MODOK or Venom, I think they do better than Ultron. Especially that he doesn't have Ultron's like I rebuild myself.
But he could.
He
I
could.
don't know. I forgot Venom was here.
Sure.
Venom. Okay, so it's important to figure out what did you want those models for? Do you want them because you think Hulk is really cool? You want to play more with Hulk? Great, play with Hulk. If you want them because they do a specific thing for your list, I think there's alternatives you could get that potentially do it as
It-
cost effectively, or for cheaper. Like Venom's job. James, what is Venom's job? To tank?
Venom
yeah.
job is a tank slash. Oh, he's okay.
Well, you,
So let me before anything else, he says he likes to do attrition in his games.
well, Venom
Um,
Venom is good attrition.
and Vem's good at attrition.
So attrition, I think, means different things to different people in this case. Because gamma shelters and like clustering people up, we're talking about as being a pro for attrition, but I think that's more of a pro for killy lists. Because I think attrition, there's more than one kind of attrition. Because in the math of the game, even if you have all of the defensive kit, like Juggernaut has a great defensive kit, Juggernaut will go down when he is focus fired. That's
Oh,
just a
true,
law of the universe.
but he doesn't have
Because how many
Juggernaut on his
actions does he
list.
burn? I'm not using Juggernaut as saying take Juggernaut. I'm saying as the
Yeah.
example. Every model will get burst down by like 3 concurrent activations of an average 3 or 4 threat character with good attack.
Oh, true, true, true.
So
I'm
it's just
just
like how many average actions. Whereas for me, attrition also means being able to have multiple zones of engagement and outlast your opponent by not letting your opponent bring to full bear on you all of his combined tactics and firepower.
yeah, and I
So
agree.
I
And
think
He likes attrition. Venom actually kind of fits into that where you get hit, and he just kind of like immediately attacks back and just does all those horrible things. I think it's also why he has Winter Soldier in there. So if like somebody gets stunned, he immediately has the hit back,
or when someone gets dazed or KO'd. And
dazed
I
or
think
chaos.
Winter Soldier is actually a great pick for
It's
having
oh
Red
yeah,
yeah,
Skull
it's
in his
good.
power generation. Winter Soldier works really well.
yeah.
I'd almost be like, okay, maybe instead of Venom, who's got big squishy energy body, and energy is quickly taking kind of the role that Mystic used to of being the most valuable attack in the game because there are the fewest countermeasures
hmm
specifically, and it's got kind of average defenses. Why not Omega Red? Other than the really obvious of buying another model,
So I also thought Mega Red. Other than the fact that it's not part of the list, maybe he doesn't like playing on it, like anything. But
or just the sheer realities of he built a list based on the models he owned.
so if he's also going for
Sure.
attrition, if they're going for attrition, um,
Captain
Hulk.
America Steve Rogers is a good one.
That's actually not a bad one. Hulk is actually horrible for that, because he doesn't benefit from Winter Soldier. So like he doesn't have a flip side. So if he becomes dazed, he's just gone.
I mean, you
So
still get the Winter Soldier trigger.
Yeah.
but you don't get twice parent at that point. You don't get
You
for him
do
being
if you use
dazed
patch up
and then
or field dressing,
which he doesn't have in his
hmm
list.
which in
So
general you should take field dressing.
you stick field dressing. Um,
Like I need to start taking field
all right.
dressing more often.
If we were not going to replace the top, Jake, who would be the two people in the considering two?
Sin and Crossbones. He needs more mid-weight threat models that I feel like could help balance out in a multiple number of games. Sin and Crossbones also have weird synergy with each other.
They do.
Having Sin on his roster, even if he's not going to play non-Red Skull leadership, it gives him the option if he wants to throw his opponent for a loop. Bullseye is an extremely close follow-up.
No Viper. Um,
Um, Viper also has rapid fire, I believe. Viper is
And gets
Or
poison.
Viper does not have rapid fire,
Gets
but
poison.
she throws out lots of poison, which is not bad.
Matt, who would be your 2?
For me, it would actually be knowing that he likes the attrition game would be Captain America and Medusa. Actually,
I can see both of those. I'm still leaning towards the Sin Crossbones combo just because I like those 2. And they're also both in Cabal, so they benefit from it. But I do see the advantage of Captain America and Mr. Sinister. It's just a lot of heavy leaning 4 points.
Yeah.
If you are going
'Cause
for full attrition, less characters is probably better at higher threats with more ways of taking damage, and Mr. Sinister and Captain America do that. Also,
Yep.
Mr. Sinister just building up power and just going, cool, Bob, you're on for 3. He can
Well,
actually,
if he has
if he
his
has the
tactic
card, if
card,
he has the
yeah.
card,
it's kind of, we've talked about that card in the past. It's kind of a trap.
I know it's a trap, but still.
And also, Bob, use it on. Well, if
Or
I
Bullseye,
don't
but he's
know.
picked Bob in the top.
Yeah, well, you say
Um,
you say we're not changing, so
Tactic cards.
Way to turn it against me.
So,
So-
out of 12, we need to drop 2.
The first thing we should talk about when tactics cards is I am aware that Atomic Mass Games has made some announcements about tactics cards.
Really?
oh, I am not aware.
They are releasing a tactic card pack of just tactic cards. And they've already kind of announced there's going to be some tactic card updates and changes.
When I want to buy it,
We don't know when, and what we
Where's
don't
my
know
money?
for sure, but a lot of people are kind of just like, are they going to change the restricted and banned list? There's a
think-
lot of
yeah.
chatter that stuff like
guarantee
MedPack
they
is
will.
just going to be gone.
Yeah.
which
So
I'm actually okay with, but
Yeah.
that's not part of this list.
true. So, but I'm just saying, take all of our tactics cards discussions
Actually-
with a grain of salt, because we expect there to be changes within the next 3 to 4 months, and we don't
Which-
know what they are yet.
which
So be
actually-
flexible.
He doesn't have MedPack on his
He
list
doesn't.
anyway, so that's fine.
Well,
So,
there's again, like, the kind of belief is almost the entire restricted list might change.
so
Yeah.
Jake,
Because the reason I keep bringing this up, the first place you should start with tactics cards is which restricted cards are you going to take?
I mean, in his case, Brace for Impact
Brace
and
for
Bitter
Impact.
Rivals, and that's what
They're
you're going
both
to bring.
good. So yeah, I agree with that choice. I think Brace for Impact can be situationally really good because it's a proactive card. You get to choose when to activate it, as opposed to even something as good as MedPack is also kind of dictated by your opponent and when you can get the timing off. Bitter Rivals is a great debuff. You might want to consider, I don't see it in this list, but finding ways to set up Incinerate along with Bitter Rivals can really knock your opponent down a few pegs. So
I
worth
don't remember versatile strategy.
versatile strategy lets you change leaderships mid game.
Well,
Whoa.
I would
okay.
say drop that because
Yeah. If you're not taking Sin.
well,
Oh
he
wait. Even
probably
if you're
has
taking
it there.
Sin.
Yes.
Get rid of that one.
Even if you took Sin?
Even if you took Sin.
Yeah.
I do not see where you'd be like, unless Red Skull
Well,
died.
Well, no. What I can see it is if you brought it as starting off as Sin and you wanted to switch it
Why?
to Red Skull.
Red Skull's is so much more powerful.
In general,
I mean,
if you're not
yes,
going
I'm
to
just
use
saying.
if you're not going to use Red Skulls as leadership, it's probably because you're not bringing him.
Yeah.
So I also agree versatile strategy for this.
Yeah.
For this particular setup, versatile strategy is not.
Yeah.
If you took Red Skull on the field, you probably are going to want his ability in most cases.
I probably wouldn't even take Sacrifice either.
Which
Like,
one's
I can-
Sacrifice again?
I'm looking.
I can see the use of Sacrifice. Now, Cosmic Configuration, absolutely take.
God,
Blind
yeah.
Deception, I would take. I would take Brace for Impact, Bitter Rivals.
Mhm.
I would take Indomitable Lethal Protector, especially if you're taking Venom. Not Aim Lackeys?
I mean, you have to take MODOK, I think, for that one.
Yeah.
Or do you?
No, you do.
Part of his list of tactic cards that he gave us to look at is a lot of them are very character dependent.
Yeah.
If anything, I might cut some of these character dependent ones and start adding more general use case. tactic cards. Like he's got some of the big ones. He's got Cosmic Invigoration for his character specific, Blind Obsession, Brace for Impact, Bitter Rivals, Indomitable are all very solid general purpose tactic cards. You might also consider Marked for Death to shut
Marked for
down
Death.
stealth, to mitigate your opponent's movers.
Mhm.
Marked for Death on its own can be an effective counter against Black Cat.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
you take her movement and you nerf it at infinite range for a round, and now your opponent either can't get to you to steal your stuff, or he can't get away with your stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. And no stagger.
Yeah. Lethal Protector, if you cut Venom and swap them out, won't have any purpose. If you do take Venom, you should consider Lethal Protector. But, as we already talked about, Sacrifice, which lets you basically bodyguard,
Mhm.
Sacrifice is the exact same thing as Lethal Protector minus the attack from Venom.
Yeah.
And it sacrifices a general use case. So I would almost leave Sacrifice if that's a thing you feel like you want, is to have an extra bodyguard effect. And then
Yeah.
cut Lethal Protector even if you take Venom. Again, it's what you need with it.
So we're
Field
looking at
dressing, I would say strongly consider getting field dressing in here if you want to have attrition as one of your main goals.
Yeah. Flipping your card is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would definitely drop
Also, I don't.
versatile strategy and drop lethal protector. I
Yep.
probably would swap out aim lackeys for like med pack or something else. Not med pack because it's limited. Field dressing.
And he also doesn't have med pack in his list.
So, easy extract crises. I actually kind of like them. I think they're good for your list.
Yep.
Well, he needs. Yeah, his extract crises are. So I think they're pretty solid.
They're solid. They're solid.
Yep.
The secures.
Yeah, you need to cut these down.
Always take gamma. Especially if you're taking.
I
Well,
hate gamma. I'm so tired of gamma.
Actually, with your list, if you're taking what you have,
that's my personal thought. It's not even related to.
Strangely enough, I would drop gamma in this. If you're starting to go a little bit wide on your Cabal list and you want to do some attrition, I really would take out Gamma Wave.
But I don't really see him going very wide.
I mean, if you take Sin and Crossbones.
I don't think you're taking Hulk in most matchups. I think you're taking MODOK. You're definitely not taking both.
Or you could, if you got the 20-pointer.
I still wouldn't take, but I basically need to have someone explain to me the scenario where you take two, where you take 11 models in 11 points of threat and 2 models.
I mean, you're a masochist and you like hard mode.
Yeah, you're taking 15 points for 3 models, and you're not playing Black Order. I don't think Demons Downtown is going to help. I know you like the Incinerate and stuff, but it's also going to affect you, and a lot of things just... if you're going for a very tall list where it's just like lots of heavy hitters, sure. But at that point, I would also just go ahead and do Gamma Wave.
Yeah.
Portals, I don't think you should take. I personally don't like portals, and the moving around, you don't have a lot of movement shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
You could just recommend portals because you personally don't like it, but we have to take Gamma Wave still.
I mean, yeah. I don't like
problem, James.
I don't like portals because portals.
But no, he's right though. If he's running tall, Gamma Wave's great. Portals, regardless of James's opinion, he doesn't have anything that has a lot of movement shenanigans.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
I don't see this setup running particularly tall. Because again, if you're gonna run tall, you should probably get Juggernaut. I'm sorry, it's just hard and fast. If you're gonna be investing in
drop Hulk,
lower numbers of
Juggernaut.
Points. Juggernaut is not a replacement for Hulk for what Hulk does.
In this list, it would be.
Yeah.
Well, again, we just need to better understand what Hulk wants to do in this roster.
Extremists. I actually think extremists would be good for this. If you want to do a bunch of attrition, having a bunch of people around the extremists, giving them extra health. Yeah, totally do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my personal opinions on 3 of the secures. I probably would take, if you're running tall, Gamma Wave. I would definitely take Extremis. And I actually like the Mutant Madman. I think it's really good, and it punishes people for sitting on the objectives. And you do kind of want to do that with a Cabal list. So those are the three I would take.
Yeah.
I've couple of times I've heard you mention doing gamma wave with tall. Can you explain that anymore?
So Gamma Wave forces you into a corridor or punishes you for being outside. And a lot of things you can get around the punishment of the 1 points. But if you're running like a bunch of heavy hitters, you get dropped into a corridor where it's easy to start now targeting people and throwing them out of the that corridor to get an extra point of damage. If you're running wide, you get bunched up too much in that little corridor.
I I guess, but kind of my question is, a part of it is, are you playing tall with gamma wave's threat value, or are you counting on your opponent bringing more threat with the other objective?
I mean, I would.
I'm counting.
Because
I'm
at
counting on
15
other
threat, how
people's.
tall are you playing?
Yeah,
Now,
I
I'm
now
counting on other people's.
every time I played Gamma Wave and played tall, I'm putting my money on the fact that you're going to pick something with a bigger
Yeah,
threat value, so I
yeah.
can play it. Otherwise, you just can't.
Yeah, it's
So what would you
again,
choose?
it depends so much on the matchup that I have a hard time evaluating tall or wide for a given scenario because it, especially gamma wave, it just comes down to who has control.
Yeah.
Do you take someone tall with lots of control, like Modoc or Magneto, or also Hulk, because you can throw people?
Mhm.
Or do you just play wide with enough effects that can move people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to double check what Shuri's push is now. I don't remember the top of it. I think it's size
It's
3.
3.
Or I think Groot and Guardians is threat 3 and has can push any size with his basic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's again, tall just feels riskier to me because you're basically banking that you played big enough that your opponent can't do anything about it, and if you're wrong, then you get
Well,
your activation to do as much as you can, and then your opponent has 2 activations to your 1
Yes.
to just out offset you.
This game
Again,
does not.
that's in the extremes.
Yeah, this game doesn't play very well, very tall. You want it's an activation game, so
well, it depends. It can. I've played
It
Gamma
can work.
tons of times tall because I played Black Order, and it works because I get to control when I activate.
so with this, you would say no.
Uh, with those models, isn't have anything tall enough to make it worth playing that risky game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you pick?
Again,
Honestly,
my personal bias against gamma shelters at this point is so high that I just won't include it, even if it's good for my own roster. I'm just tired of playing it.
What would
It's
you pick?
it's a genuine. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, cool, you got to the back point and I couldn't stop you, so now it's a runaway game, and it's
no, I
Okay.
would still pick Gamma just because it does force the center, and he wants to play attrition based on what he says how he wants to play. Gamma is good for an attrition list because it forces everyone to come to you. You don't have to move. It saves both your activations to do one thing, one attack, like attacks instead of moving, which is what he doesn't want to do. And then the other two, I mean, none of them are particularly good or bad, minus portals. I just wouldn't take that. The other ones all work well enough, but not one really goes, "Hey, this is fantastic" to me.
Um, what out of the 6, what would you pick?
I'm really bad at evaluating scenarios.
I know I am
I'll
too.
readily admit.
I actually
Um,
I don't see any problems with any of them.
Yeah,
I like Demons Downtown. Like it really comes down to what scenario you like to play.
yeah.
Um, if you like put down Mutant Madmen, you're like, I love this scenario. I play really good into it. Play it. Um, and the thing is, your secures and stuff, change them up. So like, build your list, change up the scenarios every once in a while, and just be like, oh no, this list does way better like than on Gamma than it did on Mutants, or did better on Mutants than it did in Gamma. Um, Also, really on the secures and extracts, it comes down to your play style and how you approach the game more than it does your list. So, I mean, really, pick 3.
Yep. Like I said, I would just not pick portals. That's my opinion on it. Not portals.
All
That's
right,
fair.
pick one of the 5. All right, final thoughts.
Have
I think
fun.
yeah, I think it's something interesting to throw together. I've never thought of doing Cabal that way, but I can see how it could be interesting and fun.
I really never thought about throwing Mr. Sinister into a Cabal list, but it does kind of make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, play it up. I like the only adage I can give you is play some games, do it on Tabletop Simulator, and the old rule machine was play 5 games before you change anything in your
Yep.
list.
Yep. Play 5
Because
games, and then if at the end of 5 games, if you absolutely hate something, then replace it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know if you necessarily need to do that many reps because Crisis Protocol is not as complex a game as War Machine or Hordes
Yeah.
was. I would say 3 is probably a decent soft spot. 3 specifically, if you can play 3 games with the same actual squad of like the same however many models you bring to a circumstance, get a feel for which synergies are working out, then I think you're going to be in a decent place to make some decisions.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah. Let us know how it goes.
All right. Game off.
Game on.
Bye.